I started creating guided meditations on my channel because about 10 years ago, I had a really hard time sleeping. I was really worried about some things that happened in my life, and I basically felt as though I had ruined my life. With that kind of intense worry and anxiety, I had difficulty talking to people and felt really upset inside myself. And naturally, when you feel upset with yourself, when you are with people, it is easy to see why anxiety and feelings of low self-worth come out almost relentlessly. And I tried as hard as I could over many years to mentally control my thoughts, but nothing ever seemed to work. It wasn't until I realized that I can't lie to my subconscious that I realized what I needed to do. If I feel upset inside, those feelings are going to come out. My original idea with guided meditations, which I knew from my work in hypnotherapy, was that through the subconscious mind, we can make changes to how the body behaves and make changes to how we approach our lives at a deep level. So my process of dealing with anxiety or any feelings of worry or feeling low is that you have to be honest with yourself. If you feel embarrassed, your cheeks are going to get red. If you feel intimidated, you're going to get tense. It is best to just let that out in the safest way possible. I had some times in my life in professional settings when I totally couldn't speak. It was horrendously embarrassing. But after experiencing this intense anxiety and literally seeing green on a few occasions, I felt a huge relief come over me. And I realized from this point on, the most important thing about communicating, being around people, is for me to be honest. If I was able to actually tell people that I felt nervous or say what was on my mind, such as to say, I don't really know what to say about that, if I was expected to have an opinion. When I did this, I noticed that my feelings of pressure and anxiety was immediately reduced. And I think underneath, I really felt like I couldn't speak my truth. I felt like I was too weird or something to be heard. After I confessed, I could say my piece, and I felt that people had the forewarning that they needed to decide if they wanted to listen or not, and I could actually say it with much more confidence. So during this time when I was starting to recover from this fear of speaking, I began making guided meditations online, and I discovered that I could take my mind away from those things that were preventing me from sleeping. I found that when I listened to my own voice in a pre-recorded clip, it helped remind me when I was really wound up to just relax. Also, I noticed that when I listened to something I wanted to hear, that it started to turn up in my life. If I recorded that I felt comfortable in conversation, I found that those behaviors started to be more common in my life. So I kept making more and more guided meditations. And then people started to watch my channel and it became more and more popular. And I looked more into making meditations for health and anxiety and confidence and whatever I felt like. The interesting thing is that it didn't really matter what it was about. It had the effect of relaxing my mind and instilling positive ideas generally into the subconscious. If I listened to a recording about confidence, maybe I slept better. If I listened to health, maybe I ate better. But it had a loose impression that was put onto the subconscious that was overall positive. The thing is that your subconscious knows what you want, and it's just waiting for the moment that you give up feeling bad to deliver it to you. So if we can generally make ourselves just relax a little bit more and be a little bit more open to new positive ideas, then more positive things come across you. And this can happen in many different areas. So it's a good idea to listen to some positive messages at some point during the day. It could be in the morning, could be in the evening. Whatever it is that works for you is totally fine. And think about this, if we watch a horror movie, maybe it gives you a thrill, but also it may have an overall negative influence on the rest of our lives. And I don't mean that to sound overly dramatic, but think about the carnage that goes into your psyche when you're watching something like that. It may have a cathartic release, which is a good thing, but sometimes it can be very insidious the way it builds up and ends up making us feel worse and keeps us in a mind space of being very limited and being all about distraction. And it may only be subtle, but if we can wake up feeling refreshed and excited by our life and inspired, then things really start to get better in all areas. And my final point with all this is that if you can be honest with yourself and let whatever is on your mind out in a safe way, and then start to focus on what you really want in life, then good things can start to happen.